Nerd Network fam. We are back today discussing Power Book 2 Ghost Season 4, Episode 4. I am your host, Hot Nerd D, and we got Hot Nerd Viv joining us back again to talk about Episode 4.
Edit
So,
that
yeah,
out. I don't know why I did that. I'm so uncomfortable today, guys.
we love it. We want it. We want all to eat. But yes, thank you again for joining us. Can't wait to go into episode 4. But before we dive in, everyone, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with all things Hot Nerd Net. But yes, now let's get to it, starting with the episode's recap. So this episode starts out with Dru and Diana on the run because Monet, Kane, and Tariq are trying to take them out for trying to make a plan to kill her. They all keep evading each other while threatening to kill one another. While on the run, Diana goes to Salim's house for hiding. Tariq had eyes on Diana, though, and finds his location and ends up killing him when trying to find information on Diana. Detective Carter continues to dig um, continues to dig in order to find information on Tariq. Noma and Davis meet in order to secure political partners to expand her business in the States. Throughout the episode, Monet continues to get flashbacks, which makes her continue to question her motherhood. She's trying to take accountability, though, in this episode for her actions and how they all basically have gotten to this point. But when Tariq finally catches up to Diana to kill her, Monet stops him because she lets him know that she is pregnant and that's actually his baby. So yikes there. The episode ends with nobody died, which I consider that a win in Power. And Tariq making or talking to Anya at one of his parties that he's started to throw from what we saw from last episode with him and Brayden restarting their business. So how that will end, we can't tell. But that was an interesting way for him to, start the business and probably get in a good foot just to end up probably getting a little bit more trouble. But I will pause there. And I want to know, what was your favorite part of this episode or what stood out to you?
I feel like this episode, I guess my favorite part, Salim's house was really nice. Like, it gave architectural digest. I enjoyed that. I thought his murder, though, like, was so abrupt, you
Mm,
know? Like, it just shocked me that Tariq would kill somebody else and, like, have another loose end trying to kill Diana. And then I
yeah.
also liked watching Dru and Diana try to scramble and, like, them fighting with Mary J. Blige in the motel room. I just, like, that was so funny to me. But like, it gave soap opera. It was I don't know. I wanted them to shoot each other more, or I wanted them to, like, physically tussle, and then, somebody, like, gets away from, like, I just wanted there to be more physicality, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and less, like, people crying with guns.
Yeah. I mean, you do have to admit they are family, okay? So they can't just can go to blows initially. They do have that, I think, emotional connection. But like you said, that was also one of my favorite parts too. Just seeing them continue to run into each other, give each other a speech, as to why all of this is
Right.
happening, and still end up, like you said, like not doing anything. I mean, at the end, Dru and Kane fight, but Kane is,
Okay,
very
but
crazy. So he's very capable, taking things a lot further. So I think that was just like them trying to show us, like, at the end of the day, even though they're trying to kill each other, they are still very much family. They still very much care about each other. And, I really think that this was the episode for Dru to really just speak his mind. He, at every point in time, he was like, you know what? If this is going to be my last moment, I'm going to let you know exactly how I feel about you and everything in between.
yeah.
So Monet got to get his speech. Kane got to get his speech. And you know what? Every like out of all those moments, he still ended up alive. So it's almost like congratulations to you, Dru. You got to get everything off of your chest, but at the same time not die. So I find that a great win for you. Uh, and then my other favorite part wasn't necessarily a scene, but I do like the fashion. I think this episode, I feel as though they've done a really great job in terms of dressing Noma, and I enjoyed seeing Kane in a suit. You know, he has his all black kind of style, very similar to Tommy as well, but I feel like they put it all together when they put him in the suit. So it's like I'm always here for the fashion. I'm always paying attention to that. So I feel like this episode kind of gave me a good, you know, like I love these outfits. Thank you for showing this to us.
It cracked me up watching him like walk around the dinner and try and like, you know, vibe with the guy and act like he was there to like help the children or whatever. Like it
Yeah,
was so out of character and ridiculous to watch.
it was, and then it was like, you know, hard to see him like try to be serious because it's like you got a whole lot of other motives and schemes on the brain. You are not here for this banquet or you know whatever you know political connection this is. But I think kind of speaking to our last video, like once again, Noma just knows that Kane will be loyal to her and she could take him anywhere, and that's just that. You have to. But what did you think though of Monet this episode, like trying to take accountability for her action? Do you feel as though it was sincere, or do you think it's, you know, it's still what she has to say in a way for her to kind of get back in the good graces of her family and to kind of continue on her business? Because I will say Monet is very much, you know, like business driven, and so a lot of times it can seem as though she kind of sacrifices her family for the sake of the business. So do you think she was sincere, or do you think it was just a ploy to kind of get the business going or
I
to
think
continue it on?
I think she was being sincere because she's not necessarily as like stony and cold as some of the other I guess female antagonists that we see across the power arc, like Noma or even like Rock from the other version of Power. I feel like Monet is very much driven by like she's a lot more emotional, I guess, and reactive.
Mm.
So I feel like she was being genuine when she said it because like I don't know, I just don't see her character being quite as calculated the same way as like I don't know, I just don't see her being quite as calculated. So I feel like why wouldn't it be genuine? But that could definitely change because she showed us before how she like cares about family and this, that, and the other. But whereas you know her son, her nephew son, what's his name? Zeke.
Zeke.
Yeah, and she was like trying to get them out the hood and be a family and do all that off his back. So this could very well be that again. But I don't know. I think it seems sincere, like based on what she's been through so far, especially because of all the flashbacks and her realizing where in the past she's gone wrong trying to like just disregard any emotion and you know just put the business first, put the business first, put the business first.
I agree. I agree. I definitely like that take on it. Like in a way, it's all the same to her. Like both are, you know, almost of the same priority. Like she kind of almost can't even like separate the two. Like the business is the family and the family is the business, and so I kind of prioritize all of these things all at once, like you said, versus actually putting one above the other. I mean, I do think like her kids probably have a different perspective because I feel as though they may think that, you know, of course, especially with Dru, uh saying this blatantly, like you have chosen the business over us, I think put in her head like, oh wow, I do actually have to separate this, or I do have to now show my family, that I do care, and that, why I had to do some of the things that I had to do. And it was actually for you, it wasn't always just for the business. And so I think they're starting to get an idea of that now. And I think that that is going to, like you said, kind of help her be even a bit more vulnerable, or even a bit more almost like loving, like you said. Like, I do agree in comparison to her and Rock, that Rock is a little bit more calculated, and possibly a little bit, I wouldn't say more, like a little less more heartless, but I do think she is a bit more cunning than Monet, because I don't think that Monet is, like you said, like just purely driven off of just one thing. It's all kind of like important to her. And so now I think will be that crucial moment where she does have to decide, or she does have to choose in some sort of way, which I don't think she was ever kind of like used to um before in that instance. So that I do think is interesting. What did you think of Tariq trying to like avenge his mother in a way? Like, what?
Oh, by trying to kill Diana.
Yeah,
Um, I just like I understood it and it makes sense. It was just so boring to see her be pregnant. Like I wanted them to fight more. Like I want more fight scenes. I want people to stop like showing up in rooms to yell at each other with guns and like I want them to fight. I don't know. I just like
oh my
I
god,
guess it
that's
was
funny.
like
I get.
an aha moment to see him realize like, oh my god, she's pregnant, blah blah blah. Cause that's so fucked up. Like, what do you, a few weeks ago, like y'all was getting it in, y'all was cool, everything was good. Like things took a turn so fast.
Very much did, right? Like you said, like, oh, we were in cahoots like 2 weeks ago, and now you are public enemy number one. So how how things could just quickly change and just progress literally from one episode to the next between two characters is interesting. But it's very, I think, on brand for Power. Like, things have to move quickly, and literally someone can be friend today, foe tomorrow, go back to friend, then back to foe. Like, you just have to catch them, I guess, on a good moment in that regard. So that's funny there. But I do agree. Like, this was
I guess,
definitely a very expressive episode versus like them actually getting to what we're, I think, used to seeing, which is not a
yeah.
whole lot of reasoning with one another. Like, being able to listen and take in, not even
Right.
sound
Like
advice, but actually
somebody put
listen
somebody
versus
in the
like,
dirt.
yeah, no, but I think it was just necessary for us to see like that, once again, that kind of like humanistic side. Like, okay, like, you guys do have feelings. You guys are family. Like, we can't just see you killing your brother and it kind of just be nothing. Like, that does have to, for it to go that far, or for us to take it that far, like, it really has to be that bad. And we did think, in a way, that it was going to be that bad. Cause I mean, you really just, tried to kill me. But I think that what was important, like we were talking about in terms of Monet taking accountability, is that, like, okay, I also have to realize I taught you this. I taught you to take out anyone that crosses you. And I just never thought, I would be the one that was, in that position where I crossed you and now you have to take me out. But I think she kind of just got her own like rude awakening that, you know, this is exactly what I actually told them to do. And so I can't almost be mad at them for this, but same time I am, because you didn't have to take out your own mom. But almost like I get it. So now that we all understand each other, can we just kind of give each other now a second chance? So that kind of brings me into the hot topic question, because do you think that Tariq will actually, stop going after the Tejadas now, knowing that Diana is pregnant? So, like, do you think he'll choose family over revenge, or do you think he still has this, like, background plan or scheme that will, to ultimately get his revenge on them for all the things, I guess, that he has been through with his family, because this isn't the first, time that he's had to, like, deal with them.
I feel like they'll be back linked up to deal with Noma. And then I also feel like they may also, like Noma, the Tahadas, and Tariq may all link up to take out, what's that guy's name? With the Fight Club?
Oh, Zion.
Zion. Yeah, I feel like
Mhm.
that could be a plot point too. Cause
um I just think that they're like a interesting pair because they are both very much unpredictable. Like, you don't know what Zion's gonna do, you also don't know what Kane is gonna do. And so that's the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And so how they all can kind of come together on kind of coming to cahoots with Tariq to take her out. But, maybe if she's too much of like a threat, I can still, like you said, kind of see them coming together to take out someone that is, you know, still poses as a threat, but isn't necessarily the biggest one. In that regard. So that would be Zion. So that would be interesting. I personally think, I don't know. I do think Tariq is like has a different mindset now, knowing that that's his child. But at the same time, like, he always has something up his sleeve. Like, he always has something that, I don't necessarily know if he's gonna really be able to let it go. I just wonder, what his next move will really be. Like, if he will choose family and what that would look like. Like, what does being family with the Tejadas really look like for Tariq? Or if there is some sort of revenge plan that he has, like, even if it isn't necessarily for Diana, now that that is the mother of his child, but, you know, he doesn't, in a way, like, Monet and Kate are kind of like still up for grabs. So, and even Dru. So, who knows? I think what can happen there. But I definitely think, I don't think he can just let it go. That's
yeah,
how I see it. So I am wondering, what will really happen as we see the rest of the season go on. But that was very interesting. And thank you again for joining us, because that will be a wrap for this week's recap. Always a pleasure to have you, Viv. Don't be shy if you want to come back for when the season picks back up. You know where to find us. And yes, for our Hot Nerd Network fam, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with all things Hot Nerd Network. And just remember to stay tuned for the next recap for Power Book 2 Ghosts, because we can't wait to see where the story takes us. But of course, until then, stay nerdy, folks.